Welcome to my office. Okay, so we're going to talk about plants. We're also going to talk about plant-related things. And one of the plants that I have down here on my desk next to me is this guy. This is a concrete pot, and then I have a bigger snake plant that this came out of when I repotted him. All of them were separate, and this guy was the shortest one, and he also wasn't connected to any of the others, so that allowed me to repot him. He is thriving, doing amazing. If you tend to overwater your plants, if you put them in more porous pots like concrete and terracotta, then they do really, really well because the material absorbs the water. So he's doing great. He's thriving. They also will live in really low light. They can grow up to 4 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet tall, and my other one is probably going to get there. I want to leave this guy as like a little cute baby one and keep him in my office because I absolutely love it. Alright, I have two that I just got recently, and I'll show you this one that I just got. Look how cute he is. Oh my god, I'm just gonna die. I got this guy from Trader Joe's. I absolutely love him. I liked it because it had this like ear look to it. I really love philodendrons and pothos, and the first thing that I found when I looked him up was a baby rubber plant, which I really love. I have a rubber plant that you guys will see. Next one we're going to talk about is this guy. This is a really good example of like his soil's pretty dry because this pot really absorbs the water, and he's just thriving. This is a section that I took off of a plant that I have a bigger one in the living room that I'll show you as well. And yeah, he's doing a like great job just being himself, having a good time. One thing I thought was super fun to point out, if you are a plant lady like I am, I found these bookends. There's another one, I didn't want to take both of them. And I actually found these at Target at the dollar spot, and they were around $5. Two bookends. They're both this deep, and I'm gonna put more books and stuff up here eventually, but they're just like the perfect thing. They're metal, and I think they're adorable. Yeah. Another plant related thing I got this from Amazon. I got it in a set of 2. I just have water in here, and then I will use this to dust my plants. For some of them, they get really dusty, especially like these guys that have these like more porous leaves. I have 2 dogs. Things get really dusty in this house. All right, my pride and joy, my baby boy, guy that's been hanging out behind me this whole video. He's having a time right now. Please excuse him. He's having a journey. I just brought him home 3 days ago, and I did get this at Trader Joe's. All of these tendrils that you see down here were wrapped up and smushed down in here, and then this was all up, so none of his leaves were like sticking up, and it's super upsetting. Whoever did this to him, I hope you're happy with yourself because you almost killed him. I had him in kind of a sunnier spot thinking he would appreciate it, but I don't think he did because he's turning a little yellow. Again, these leaves were all smushed down, and then in the last like day or so they've all stood up and they're having a great time. So I'm gonna keep him in more shaded areas. I haven't looked into exactly what kind of light they like, but this is a type of monstera, and he's very long and traily. Very cool. I absolutely am obsessed. And then if you look down here, so we're gonna get a bigger pot for this guy, and then we're gonna get a dowel so that way he can climb up, because this is a climbing monstera. They're usually around $30. I snagged this guy at Trader Joe's for $6. Yep. I bought him at the same time that I bought this guy. Also got him for $6. So if you do have a Trader Joe's that carries plants, keep your eyes peeled because some of their leafy plants are really, really good. And if you look down here on the bottom, you can see all of his roots. That means that he's root bound and he's grown out of his pot. He's grown so traily is because he's trying to grow out and find more land to grow into. So I am going to get him a bigger pot and put a stick in it so that way he can really kind of grow and thrive. And he might end up sitting in this little corner that I have over here in my office. We'll see. Right now, he's gonna sit up here and have a great time with me in my office. Okay, so over here at the front door, I have 2 plants. And I have another snake plant. I think I got this one from Lowe's. And then I also have another pot that I believe is from Walmart. But I got these a couple of months ago. I have this guy, and this is a type of Chinese evergreen. He was really having a bad day. He was not doing great. And now, I thought these were new leaves, but these look like flowers. And what I have to do is if I see some really sad dying leaves is I cut those off, and so then he's not focusing on putting out new stuff that doesn't work for him. And then there's this little teeny tiny like tail right there. He's doing pretty good now that we have figured out how to live together. And then this guy, since he's so new, I have him in his nursery pot. He's starting to grow out of it, so he will move into this pot officially, probably in the summertime. And then this pot, I believe, is from Lowe's. I'm not too sure. Okay, so I have one plant in this like main kitchen area, and this is by far one of my oldest plants. He's pretty big. I had to repot him because he was not having a good time, and I'm probably going to repot him again because he's already too big for this pot. And he's still not having a good time, but he's doing much better. I've given him root rot on accident before. I have underwatered him on purpose. I have overwatered him on purpose and on accident. This thing has lived through a lot. One thing I do say is that sometimes I make mistakes and then he gets upset and his leaves turn a little brown. But he kind of sits near a light source. He doesn't love too much light, and I finally figured out what he was after years of having this plant. It's probably around 8 years at this point. And they can get super tall. I think they might be around 4 feet or so that they can get. They're similar to a snake plant, but I'm not 100% sure what kind of plant that they are. Okay, so this is one of my oldest plants too, and I can barely pick him up, but he absolutely loves sitting here because he gets a really good amount of sunlight. And it started from a little baby cutting from one of my mom's plants. She has the exact same thing. He's a lot older and a lot like bushier up top and long. And I have wrapped him around a little bit so that way he'll reroot. He hasn't quite taken to it yet, but he is sitting in a way that is really working for him. So I'm not going to mess with it. And I have taken some of the cuttings off that grow really long, and then I'll replant them into this top part just to kind of make him fill out. Now I won't do that because I like the way he looks right now, and so I'll just let him kind of grow and be traily. And I might end up getting him a dowel in the future as well, if he doesn't have a place to actually trail and grow, because I really like it when they're very long and traily. So this is my fiddle leaf, or not fiddle leaf, rubber plant that I have. He has grown a few leaves since I got him, which was a few months ago, and then we got this pot stand from Walmart as well. He is doing pretty well. He will need to be repotted, and I'm not too sure if I want to repot him in this one or not. But he is super cute and super fun. I really wanted a fiddle leaf fig, and that was what I was thinking about getting when I got this, but the whole reason I got this was because he's a little less temperamental, where fiddle leaf figs, you have to really care for them. So I absolutely love him. He's a really easy plant to take care of. And I'll show you guys his new leafage here. Look at that. So this is a new leaf from when we got him. This was one of his first new leaves. That's why it's so big. And then this is his other new leaf. And then obviously this little guy right there. So they are really cute, really fun plants to have, and super easy to take care of. So we are currently in the middle of a house project. So I usually have some of these plants on the mantle and around our fireplace, but right now we're in the middle of painting it, so I had to take them all off, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of show them to you. So firstly, this is one of my absolute favorite plants. So he is pretty tall, you can kind of tell here, and I have a little round string around him so that way he stays standing upright, because this is the big plant that I repotted and he is trying to grab onto the soil. And because he's so tall already, I think I didn't plant him further enough down, but he was way grown out of his pot that I potted him in. This is one of my absolute favorite plants. This was part of my Valentine's Day present from my husband, one of 2 plants, and we got these from Fern Plant Shop. I will link their Etsy and their website and everything for them down below, because I absolutely love them. And yeah, I leave him over there. He just sits on the mantle and looks super cute, but since I picked him up, I realized that we have one new little stalk down here, and then we also have one new one right here. So he is doing really great where he's at, and that just tells me that I am giving him everything he needs to grow. And so he is a ZZ plant, and they are really easy to take care of. This is another type of Chinese evergreen. I believe I got this one from Lowe's as well, and this pot maybe from Lowe's, maybe from Walmart, not too sure about that. And I'm doing the same thing with this guy that I did with the other Chinese evergreen, and any of these like super bad looking leaves like this one will be cut off, and that way he can focus on working on things to actually help him instead of looking sad and depressing. And he is also still in his nursery pot. He's starting to outgrow it, and this was the pot that he was going to live in as a permanent home. This is another one of my absolute amazing finds from Trader Joe's. I got this, and again, he was super crumpled up, and I have 2 smaller plants, one that's in my office and another one over here on the table, that are originally from this guy. All I did was when I repotted him, I broke up the pieces that were not connected, and then I repotted them in some other pots. This guy is having the time of his life. And he is really easy to take care of. This is actually a philodendron, and he is variegated. And I absolutely am obsessed with these types of plants. Monsteras, philodendrons, and pothos I think are super rewarding and super easy to take care of. So look at this guy. Okay, so this is my spider plant, and he's doing much better now that I repotted him in the beginning of the year. He was completely outgrowing the pot that he was in, and he wasn't getting enough sunlight because of it, because all of his little tendrils were in like a bunch like this, and they were all kind of drooping down because of the weight. And so once I repotted him, he hung out there for a couple of days and then absolutely sprang straight up, and now is having the time of his life. There's a bunch of new growth that wasn't there before that stands straight up, and I'm really hoping to get a little shoot that I can put in my office from this guy, but if not, I'll find one elsewhere. He is very rewarding to look at because you just know that he is really, really happy. I thought I'd mention this one just for fun, but my husband's growing wildflower seeds. Alright, so this is another Trader Joe's find. You put plants at a grocery store and you're gonna get me. I can't help myself. And I'm not too sure what kind this is. I've found similar ones online, but he is a type of succulent. He is growing really great. When I got him at Trader Joe's, the entire nursery pot was about this tall, and it was all covered on the top of the pot. And then through the winter time, because I got him last fall, and through the winter time he lost a lot of that, and then I moved him out to a different pot. He was in a smaller pot, and then I set him out here to get a little bit more sun, and he absolutely loved the move and the change. He was way too overgrown for the pot that he was in. It was probably about an inch smaller than the one that he's in now, and he will be growing out of this for sure. But I just really enjoy looking at him and looking how big he's getting, because he's another one of those plants that is just completely changed and totally grown so much more than I could have anticipated. I can't remember all of the names off the top of my head, so I figured I would just put them on the screen or something like that. Cause like I think it's like a pepperonium is what this is. I remember it because it rhymes with pepperoni. Yeah, this is one of those ones that can be rewarding and can be super upsetting if you don't know how to take care of him. Because some mornings I just come in here and all of his leaves are like totally droopy and down, and that's when you know he needs to be watered. And he really likes to be moist on the soil. This is probably soon he will decide that he needs to be watered. And then if you see any of these little speckles in here in any of my plants, that's fertilizer. At the beginning of spring I fertilized everything, and I won't have to do that for the rest of the season. So this is the direction he faces at the window. This is what I usually see. So I haven't picked him up and turned him around, but he looks really happy from the front here. I think I'll just turn him so that way this side can get a little bit more sun. Always turn your plants. This is why. Alright, my baby, my pride, my joy, my everything is a Monstera. He's so cute. He has not broken up yet. He will soon. They're supposed to get about this size and then start having little, what is it called? It's not ventilation.
Swiss cheese.
But he's supposed to start doing that very, very soon. He probably had around like 5 of this size leaves when I got him. And now he's been sitting by the window. He's been having a great time, and he has grown a lot of little babies down here. A lot of these have gotten bigger. A lot of these shoots have gotten really big, and he's just doing his thing. And I hope to one day have one of those monsteras that are like super, super huge and really beautiful. Okay, so it's been about a week or so, yeah, since the last time I was like going around showing you guys my plants. All but 4 of them are currently in my office. So they're all either on this shelf right here or on my office here. And since then, I have received my order from Fern, which is a Spokane-based company that sells plants and plant-related things. I got these earrings, which I will link below, for from their Etsy shop. And they have multiple ones, but they're monsteras, and I'm telling you, I got ready this morning, sat down in my office, and was like, I have never felt more like myself being surrounded by all of my beautiful plants. And then I also received this one in the mail. Well, I ordered it, but I received it at the same time as my earrings. He's hanging down pretty long here. Doing great. He's actually blooming a little bit. This is a string of pearls, and I think he's absolutely cute. I'm just letting him acclimate right now. I'm gonna see if I either want to put him in a macrame hanging plant holder, or he might get a little too messy. We'll see. If I have to take him down a lot, then I won't do that, because I have noticed that if you touch him a lot, then he'll lose all of those little beautiful little pearly bits. So I believe he is a type of succulent, which is kind of dangerous for me because I tend to kill succulents often. But you can see he's just cute. And then you can see a better look at one of his growths, right, or one of his blooms right here.